how it is.
I does know how it is. I don't
you've
even
played
know
in
where
the
to
band.
start with you. I don't even know where to start with you.
Oh, like
Okay?
I've done bad stuff. Sure.
No.
Let him have it. Let him have
Hold
it.
on. I'm not going to let him have it, but somebody pull up the podcast roster.
Okay.
Somebody pull up like the episodes and scroll
This-
back to, because I don't know if this is good podcast decorum or what have you, but scroll back to the Ballad of Jason Southward. I don't know what episode that was.
Well, why am I catching strays here?
You're not catching any strays. This is good. It's like episode 2 something. The Ballad of Jason Southward falling down an alley while getting killed by a minivan. Whatever episode that is. And again, I don't know how good of a podcast decorum.
The podcast app sucks because you can't search. I should be able to pull up the feed and then just search in the feed.
You would think I'm right here with you, okay? But whatever that one was, pulling teeth while limping on one leg behind a dead minivan pointed uphill. The Ballad of Jason
That
Southward.
was a Primitive
was
Radio
recent.
Gods hit in 1996, if I recall correctly.
Episode 213. Again, don't know how good a decorum this is, or even if it's a good idea because you're listening to this right now. But go listen to that episode. Good episode. Okay? If you're new to the show, you're just popping something on.
It shows I listened to the whole thing, so that tells you something.
It's a good episode. Go listen.
No,
it's a great episode. Go listen. Also, the other day, you know how I don't know how y'all's podcast app works, but y'all are going to hate on me for listening to YouTube Music, but that's what I listen to, and that's how I listen to my podcasts. And when one podcast stops playing, I don't know how it just randomly generates another podcast from my feed. I don't understand. Sometimes I'll be listening to some shit from 3 years ago. Sometimes I'll be listening to something from 3 months ago. And sometimes I just let it play when podcast ends. And it played episode 221 for me. Okay. And I'd also like you to invite you to go listen to 221. So if you have not, and you have heard these with listenings right now.
Coffee Cocktails Nude in the Garage. It's a big Rylan episode, clearly.
Yeah, Rye just dipping his sack just under the horizon of the garage door.
I remember
just enough to see if his neighbors are going to notice.
Into the chopped nuts that go on the ice cream bar, or no?
Oh, yes. And now that's where I would like to start. The amount of just not wanting to work with me that Rylan put on at the beginning of the first 15 minutes of last week's episode. He starts by just like having absolute no affection or anything other than contempt in his voice at me asking about background music. Just an innocent little question.
Can you blame him?
What?
No, Jason, let's do 10 minutes on what you would do if you saw a nose hair sticking out of your friend's nose. Because that's what you left me with last week. But I knew what I was doing because we were waiting on a guest to pop on. So it was all part of the flow of the show.
Rylan, if anybody can sympathize with the fact that you had to deal with Brad Solo, it's your partner on this podcast. Like,
I thought you were going to say it's Molly.
Well, that too. But what I will say is I never feel guilty about not being available for a podcast. I don't feel bad about the listener. I don't feel bad for myself. I don't feel bad about anybody.
Give a shit about anyone.
Except for you, because except for you, because I know you have to deal with Brad by yourself. And that to me...
What does that mean?
Motivates me to be here every week.
What does that even mean with your English?
I feel like you're like a firefighter walking into a forest fire in California when you do the podcast with Brad by yourself. You know?
There's no way that's accurate.
You never know what's going to come at you. It's unpredictable.
It's unpredictable.
You can't really even hope to contain it. You just hope to protect yourself and the safety of others.
And by the time you put out one little piece of ground, you put out that fire, another gigantic tree is aflame with some.
Like a giant,
he's just constantly
just falls in front of you on fire.
Yeah, he's just constantly moving from one dumbass comment or perverted. You just can't keep up with him, you know?
He did learn at the feet of Brian Damaris.
Yeah, he is on the Brian Damaris coaching tree.
The Brian Damaris comedy coaching tree.
I was reminded by Lukewarm Tall Boy of a name that I hadn't heard in a while, and I just, if we're talking about where I learned how to be this spectacularly funny, I'd also like to throw Dave Little in there, noted regional comic, Dave Little.
The great Dave Little.
Would I know his name, or am I getting that mixed with something else? That sounds familiar to me.
He certainly used to be referred to on the ticket as noted regional comedian or noted regional comic Dave Little by one. Don't know if you've heard of this guy, Mike Reiner. Often would refer to him that way.
That's probably just.
And he's certainly been on the ticket a time or three as well. They don't make comics like Dave Little anymore. Shout out to Dave Little. I know he's a big listener. He's kept up with me these 15 years since we last crossed paths and worked together on the stage. So
retired from Twitter in 2019, it appears, but had a steady stream of one-liners.
Hope your
was his bit. Pretty funny.
Hope your coitus muscles are still in good shape.
That's human dads. 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 Podcast. Human dads. Podcast. Human dads. Podcast. Human dads. Podcast. Human dads. Get up off your ass. Human dads. Podcast. Human dads. Podcast. Human dads. Podcast. Human dads. Get up off your ass.
Tell your mom.
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 Tell your mom to listen. Tell your mom to listen. Tell your mom to listen. Tell your mom to listen.
Get up off your ass for the Human Dads Podcast.
Chicken fingers were invented to get kids to shut the fuck up. Dave Little, March 9th, 2019.
That's not bad.
Can I say this about Dave Little just real quick?
Is he listening?
I think so. Yeah, not trying to eulogize him. I hope he's still with us. I'm sure he's still with us.
What?
Somebody reach out to Dave Little.
It was very
You're
touching.
the one that knows him.
I started out at this comedy club as the lowly sound guy. Dave Little, the only comic of note that was nice to the sound guy. Everybody else,
that's cool. I appreciate people that are like that.
And I'd say everybody else, if they were of note, they looked at me like, hey, there's a sound guy.
Yeah, I'm a little uncomfortable with the sort of we're in the club and you're not.
Yeah.
But I've been guilty of it too, no question.
Which isn't to say the people that brought
in local politics and et cetera for my whole life, but it's something that you shouldn't do.
The people that brought me in and the other people on stage, a lot of the people who were involved. Hey, Jace.
Yeah, no, I had just a focus issue.
Well, you can see how it's distracting when you take your right paw and just start waving.
Well, if you were professional, since it's an audio medium, you just sort of keep rolling is what you're supposed to do.
It's also like if you were choking, I think that's how it would start, is you waving at the camera to be like, hey, I'm dying or something. So.
Hey, Brad, let's get a little check-in from Jace. It's been a long time since we've
there you fucking go. Jace, wave at the camera again. Check in.
And then I want to ask him a question. I want to finish the question that I was asking you last week before Jake popped on, and I want to ask Jace. I want to get his take on this thing that's been.
Well, Ryland, I'm doing good. I appreciate you asking. I'm hanging in there. I got a great bit of follow-up on your mention of last week's episode as well. With that being said, like to throw it to the guy in the Ohio State shirt to defend everything that Maurice Clarett has ever done. It's on you, Jace.
Well, I'm going to let Rylan ask this question, but let me just say this before you do. I don't listen to episodes, as you know. Don't really like the podcast that much, so I don't listen, obviously.
Appreciate the support.
Heard it's great, though. People have said it's great. So I did get a little bit of feedback about this last week's episode, and apparently my good name was besmirched over and over and over again from two people that I think are my friends.
Yeah, fuck
And then
you,
in
Jake.
addition, local celebrity and famous podcaster Jake the Snake Podcast Roberts.
Jake the Snake, Abgod Kemp.
And
I didn't think we talked about you that much, actually.
Did Jake besmirch your name?
apparently you all did.
I don't know what. I know Rylan was talking mad shit.
I called you vice president of Florida. Like, that's a compliment.
Fair. He gave you a
That is-
distinguished title.
That is
He
a
gave you a
compliment.
distinguished title of distinction.
Yeah. I'm
Rylan,
being
go ahead and
besmirched myself here.
ask your question and let me answer it for you because you guys are still my friends. So go ahead.
But he
What
wanted
would
to
you
check
like
in and
say?
see how you're doing first. Like, are you okay? We hadn't seen you in a month.
Yeah, how's Florida?
Um,
Or how's I-10? Seems
Here's
like
what I'll
you
tell
spend
you.
a lot of time on I-10.
Here's what I'm going to tell you about Florida. Okay.
Or is it I-20? I don't even know.
I don't think I
It's
need to go to
10.
Florida anymore.
You Florida it out.
I think I'm done. I'm done with that portion of Florida. I'm
Can I
done with
say this?
Panhandle, Florida.
Can
Me
I say
too.
this? We've turned into like everything. We're just doing everything the same and doing it over and over again. And without fail, this is like the third year in a row where I see some news flash about Pensacola area, Florida, and I'll be like, "Oh shit! I wonder if Jason was dealing with that last week." But it's like literally Jason leaves, and then they're like, unscrew all the screws that was holding everything down, pull the nails out that was holding everything down, and just let the shit run wild.
Yeah.
And then I hear about it like the day after Jace was there.
This is something I did want to talk about with you guys on the podcast at some point. We don't have to do it today, but I did want to talk about the concept or the idea of luck and whether or not you believe in the idea of luck because
I'd like that to be the third instance of or the third segment of the show. Rice got two, Rice got one, and then I want to follow up on something Rice said last week that I've just been thinking about all week myself. Then we can end on luck.
yeah, let's talk about luck at the end of the show because I feel like if it exists, I don't have it. But yeah,
I don't know, bud. You could be here like with a broken back after the minivan rolled over you because you put an 11-year-old in charge of steering a non-powered vehicle that weighs like 5,000 pounds.
but I also did tear my calf muscle in that process. I could have very easily just moved the van.
That would have been the luckiest scenario.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in that you didn't like throw out another disc or get some more back jelly money shotted on your spine. That
But see, that's the sign of a guy who has
Shredded
bad
me.
luck is when his friends say stuff like this. Like, oh, hey, you could have just gotten run over and died. And you know why you say that? Because I'm the guy that stands outside of the Hyatt at 2:30 in the morning in Orlando, Florida, with a sprinkler head shooting through my butthole.
So Jason's aware. He may not know the exact timing of it. Brad, I don't know if you are, but we're leaving out for our Disneyland trip tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Jason's wife hooked us up with her magic Disney Jedi abilities.
Disney.
And Disney, that was unintentional, but I'll own it.
We'll use that.
She emailed yesterday, I think, to just say, "Hey, the tickets are ready. You can get them out of the app or whatever. Let us know if there's anything else you need." And I wrote her back. I made sure it all worked, and I wrote her back. We're good. And I almost said, as long as our dog doesn't eat a corn cob in the next 2 days, everything should be amazing. But since Jace wasn't on the email, and I don't know how, it's not funny to have your dear, good puppy dog go through a major medical crisis. So I just didn't know how it would hit.
It would have
but I want
hit.
you
It
to
would
know-
have landed. It would have landed like a 747 on the runway smoothly and beautifully because just yesterday, no joke, all of us were in the car driving back from Superman and corn cob. There's a super dog in the Superman movie.
Heard the dog is featured a lot.
Yeah, the dog is great. But we were talking about like, all right, what if our animals in our home were super-fied? And poor Sonny's mishaps, including corn cob and broken leg chasing squirrel, were discussed. So we all had a good laugh, Rylan, and she would have found that funny. But yeah, so I think I have plenty of bad luck.
So Brad, the thing that I said last week that you want to follow up on, is it the toilet seat thing, or is it something else?
No, we need to get to the toilet seat thing. You need to kind of reset the whole thing. But I guess to preview it, you said in the common refrain for the show, but you said, look at our kids, and I don't think we're very good at this. And then Jake said pointedly, very. I thought he opened up a wonderful conversation to say, "Hey, why could you flesh that out? Explain that for me." Yeah. And your first response was, "I just don't feel like they're all that put together." And
compared to other kids their age.
Well, I'm just thinking about, and a lot of it was what turned out to be was a lot of it was compared to how you felt you were maybe quote unquote put together as a kid, or more just out of the way, or not as. I think what you were trying to say is the largest focus, like you weren't the main focus of the picture, whereas your kids feel like it's zoomed in portrait mode on them, probably,
which is actually different than the put together thing, but they're both. The put together thing is kind of a throwaway line that leads to more specific things, and I guess we did talk a little bit about it, but yeah,
I just been thinking about that a lot this week.
But and it came up. Cordy and I even talked about it a little bit, and I almost texted you guys yesterday because I was sweeping the floor and I found 3 pieces of chewed old gum under our couch. Like that's where you put your gum when you're done with it. That's three distinct pieces. 2 of them I couldn't reach without moving the couch, so they're still there, which is rent free in my head now, sitting right next to that Tom Herman peach art. Just gum on the floor, gum on the floor, gum on the floor, and
on the floor?
Under the couch, but in the crack where I would have to like really move the couch. Because it's where the 2 pieces of the couch like come together and they're kind of screwed together along the bottom, like when you have a multi-section couch. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, anyway,
I don't want to bog.
A puzzle piece, yeah.
I almost texted you guys as a follow-up on that conversation just because if gum in my childhood was found anywhere other than my mouth or the trash can, I feel like someone would have been getting the nuclear codes from the White House.
Oh, and look. If you do anything with gum other than put it in the trash, you're a bad guy. We can all agree on that, right? You're headed to Area 51.
But they've heard me say this, and this is less than a year old. This might be less than 6 months old. This isn't like something someone did when they were 5, and I moved the couch for the first time in 8 years.
My kids.
I mean, I just don't. I cannot
constant.
reach. I can't reach this piece of them that's like. Just take 5% more effort to take care of our shit collectively.
But why do they do it? Why do they do? Why? I feel like it's got to be intentional. Like they're doing it on purpose. Otherwise, why? Because they're not lazy. Your kids aren't lazy per se. Like if they want to do something, they'll get up and run. Like they climb trees and jump off the roof and stuff. Like so,
it's almost like there's a baseline level of fear, but I'm not even going to say fear is too colored of a word about like really negative
African American
implication. No, like like the connotation of the word, but there was this general desire to avoid parental consequence that I think really tamped down our impulsivity at a younger age than what we're raising right now. I think we are raising them differently because of generational differences and just the world has changed. And they are more apt to be more impulsive like that more frequently, whereas our concerns were different. We were assessing emotional risk at a different level earlier and more frequently because the one time I fell asleep chewing gum when I was like 8 and woke up with gum in my hair, I was made to feel like I had beaten up kittens with a baseball bat. Like I was like, why are you so mad about this? Just get the
Not
fucking
again.
peanut butter, get it out of my hair. What are we doing? Why is this DEFCON 7? I still remember that to this day. And when I saw the gum, I had the whole memory come back. I was like, whoa, this would have been a 25 to life conversation 35 years ago.
The only thing we can compare over here is that multiple times across multiple years, we have found multiple candy wrappers from everywhere, from behind our dirty clothes hamper to under a jar in the bathroom that holds the Q-tips to on the back side of our bed that nobody's ever going to see until you pull that full thing out. And all of those had some sort of motivation to hide and or to maintain some sort of sneaky behavior.
Not knowing that you ate 17 Hershey's Kisses in a row instead of 3 or 4 and you hide all the wrappers.
But
Well,
do they think that we go and search through the trash can? Like, what's
Especially
more
for something that small.
Yeah,
audit the
what's
wrapper.
more likely, that I'm going to find the hidden wrapper behind the laundry basket, or that I'm going to go search the trash can before it gets taken out to find that you ate 4 bags of, Takis? So why are they not thinking this through? Why are all our kids so dumb?
Can you imagine the condition of the roof of your mouth at midway through bag 3 of the Takis?
Oh, just
Let me ask you
caked in
this.
blue dust.
You'd be feeling it for a week, man.
Oh.
We talk to the one almost every day about target practice for the toilet bowl, which I think can segue us into our next topic here. Target practice for the toilet bowl. How come there's no reflection there? But if we have 2 Hershey's Kisses, we're going to take that and make sure our stuffed animal bucket that we never touch is lifted off the ground, and then we'll place those 2 6-millimeter long Hershey Kiss wrappers under there so that nobody will ever see it. Meanwhile, there's a gallon of piss on the floor in the bathroom, and not one bit of, hey, let me try to cover this up real quick.
I have a theory on this.
People,
I think
you can't see yellow until you're 15.
No, I think that that part of our brain as adults,
If
where
you're being a good teammate, it looks like water.
That's right, and you're a bad guy if it doesn't. But the thing that
you may also just be a selfish teammate, or if things are getting a little worse, it's just a blatant disregard for others, and you're headed to Area 51.
Jesus.
This is my new thing. My life strategy is governed by this P chart now. This is a new era for me. It's been there all these years, and yesterday I got out of the pool to, empty the tank, and I thought, this is just part of my identity now. And so this is where we're at.
Were you headed to Area 51, or were you a bad guy after a day in the pool?
I was a little on the selfish end, but honestly, I'd been pretty busy, and I hadn't really refilled my big water cup much that day. So
shout out to the P chart.
Yeah. I think the reason that the P thing happens is because kids don't have that that voice in our brains that make us embarrassed by certain things. Like certain things, we would be embarrassed if someone else saw that thing. I think they're embarrassed by social stuff, but you should be embarrassed if you piss all over the seat, right? And so we wipe it up because or the floor, whatever. But they don't have that.
Or the side of the bathtub.
I think there's magical thinking up to a certain age that this is just a place where you go do your business and you press the lever and magic happens. They're not thinking
Everything
about
goes away.
The maintenance. There's just general magical thinking, the same way they would do things like open the refrigerator door and then just hang with it, all of their weight on it, like it was made from steel and welded.
My God.
We're
doing
and I'm
sound of the music, waving our hand out like we're just.
I have and then they've got clearly before they opened it, they dipped their hand in yogurt, so they're But it's like I tell them all the time, you are not surrounded by steel and concrete. Okay, this is a late '90s
It's
home.
a refrigerator. It's not Cirque du Soleil.
No, the appliances are shit. They're going to fall apart in 5 years. Most of the furniture came from an online source and is not premium. The texture on the walls was sprayed 35 years ago now, or however long ago that was, and if a little nick or a too harsh fingernail into it is literally going to take a piece off of it and make a little white speck. So don't sit there and bounce your feet on the thing while you're sitting in the bar. All these things, they just don't get it. But we got to talk about the toilet. Jace, I want to get you caught up to speed on this.
Please. Yeah.
I grew up, I think we collectively, this was Baby Jessica adjacent. We collectively grew up in an era where spousal politics around the toilet seat was just a mainstream go-to for entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Entertainment in all its forms, scripted, comedy,
big player
written,
on Married with Children,
big player on sitcoms, all of it. We were that era had a lot to say about spousal politics around toilet seat management, and I've always been confused by it because the way I see it, it's I don't understand the ask, because if the ask is let's make sure that when you're done using it, you just close the lid, everything's done. I think I used the analogy last week. It's like a Tupperware container. You open it up, you do what you need to do, and then you close it back, right? Okay. That seems very easy, but that doesn't jive with people talking about pee on the seat. So then I'm like, okay, if it's the ask is lift the seat before you stand up to go, that's clear because the target's too small.
Yeah.
When the
exactly.
seat's down.
Obviously.
But they never said when they were talking in the 80s and 90s on every TV show, they weren't saying, hey, you forgot to lift the seat. They would say, you forgot to put the seat back down. So I'm asking y'all, did I misunderstand this as a kid? Because you don't hear this anymore. Did I misunderstand this as a kid? Or did we have a generation of women dropping their pantless ass down onto something without looking at it first? Which is what was really happening? Because I know I'm married to a woman who, if she drops her pants, she's going to look before she sits because that's
every time
safe. Why everyone, if you have your pants on, aren't you looking before you sit everywhere you go? Aren't you looking at the target? So then why the one time when you are exposed would you not look? Were these women who fired off this whole strain of comedy, were they just indiscriminately pants drop, booty down on whatever without looking at it just in this one setting? And if that's the case, then the comedy should have been about making fun of whatever the hell that is instead of saying someone peed on the seat, because they couldn't have been peeing on the seat. No, they weren't, right?
No,
they would have said lift the lid.
I think it probably became comedy from like the rare instance where someone like in the middle of the night goes into the bathroom to go to the potty as a woman, and they sit down on it and they don't realize because it's dark or you're foggy because it's middle of the night and you sit down on the cold non-covered seat. So probably like those rare occasions created the narrative and the joke. But you make a good point. Your point is well taken.
It was just ubiquitous. It was like the number two, I'll say number two theme of spousal comedy next to I hate my husband because he's stupid, which is the universal number one that will never go away. So it's fallen. It's not even on the charts anymore. It's like it's off the Hot 100. It's off the Heat Seekers. It's off the what's that catalog albums chart. It ain't nowhere anymore. Nobody talks about toilet seat politics.
what about, very much in the same vein, what about in all the movies when the person's in the shower and the guy or the other person walks in and flushes the toilet and the person freaks out and jumps out of the shower? Do you know that bit?
Mm-hmm.
I think
That
what
just had to
we're
be a reference
highlighting
to
here-
old plumbing, which
Right,
Yeah.
because
I could
I was
see
always
where
confused by that.
50 years ago there might have been a different, plumbing style. Plumbing styles evolve, right?
I think what we're highlighting here is that there used to be an old way for bathrooms to be situated. Like I completely agree with the logic that Ryland is providing, but if you flesh it out even further, if you want or ever in a position to get asked to bare toilet, then you'd think that you would, in some instances, also get asked to bare toilet lid, right?
Right. And you never
So-
heard that.
But that makes me think that toilets for a generation or multiples, I don't know. We
No,
need to do a
that's
history
different.
of the toilet.
That's
No, it makes me think
different,
that the
Brad.
history it makes me think that the history of the toilet at one point only had like the seat. It didn't have
But
the
in-
closed lid.
But in the era where this conversation peaked, Brad, not only did the toilet have a seat, the seat probably had some shag carpet on it.
Yeah.
He's got a point.
So, but you
So
never
it was
heard of a woman.
actually the heyday of the seat. The seat was considered a part of your decor, which means you should be even more cognizant.
But you never once heard a woman say, "I went in there bare ass and pissed all over the seat because I forgot to check." The only time they're forgetting to check is when everything is fully up.
Yeah, but I think that's because the amygdala reacts when you see the.
But you're
the
not seeing
top
anything. You
covered.
wouldn't.
Yeah, but like when you're foggy or it's dark, you just sort of something's wrong. But when the difference between the seat down and the no seat, that's so minor. It's very hard to perceive the difference. Dude, have you never done it? Have you never sat down before on there
No.
with the no seat? Never in your
Never.
life?
And here's
Surely,
why.
as many times as I've pointed my bottom towards the toilet, I would. If you guys can't rule out nude attic, then there is no way that I could.
Nude
rule out-
attic
and
is
I'll
a
do you one
matter of
better.
simple
I'll do you one
convenience.
better. I
don't
don't even
compare this
think
to
it
nude
would
attic.
bother me. I don't even think it would. It would
Oh,
deter
it
me from.
does.
I think I'd
It-
just continue on
No,
about my business.
It's the weirdest feeling in the
It's
Nah.
a
world.
completely
Everybody
different
knows
entity.
porcelain is an affectionate lover.
No, it's a completely different entity, and this is adjacent to how you guys feel about spirit doo-doo on your Blackstone griddles.
That's a real
Which we
thing.
bring back. We need to make sure we keep our listeners caught up on the concept of spirit doo-doo.
It's a real thing. Yeah.
I
Not to
feel
mention
like
when it's on the mirror and it can see itself and gains more power. That's also
even
Sounds
worse.
true.
yeah.
I feel like the appropriateness for contact with human body of the actual toilet seat is fine, and the appropriateness of the contact of the lowest level with the human body is like one of the grossest things you can do. I just feel like if I had bare ass on that little narrow strip where I've watched millions of pee droplets land for my whole life, if my backside touched that, that would be disgusting. So
You're right.
I would never, nor could I understand why anyone, again, would aim their bare ass at something without looking at it first.
It's
What does that say about the women that were that first thought, you know what, I'll just go out and yell at my husband instead of showering off my piss soaked ass? Like what kind of heathens?
But again,
Pull their
I would
underwear over it?
argue that
Yeah,
the
Pull their
smart
cotton
thing to
underwear
do,
and their moo over it, and now you've
Ugh,
got
you got
cotton
the
mixed with
moo
pubis
bunched up
and
behind you
urined.
in that
Ugh.
backboard area.
The
moo-moo's
back.
bunched
Oh
up
my
behind
God.
you.
That back area is
Ugh.
Satan's home. The
Yeah,
the,
that's
the back area with the toilet lift that's hell on earth. That little area, that little 1 square inch.
If you have more than one male human regularly
Oh.
using that receptacle, that
You
area
know what's in there?
immediately. That's why I'm glad to have girls, bro.
You know what's
I
in
don't
there?
have to think about that compared to the thoughts I had to have about that in college. Compared to since, it's night and day.
here's what's in there. I'm gonna list it off. Guarantee there's a pube there. 100%
How do they
chance.
fly so far?
I don't know, but 100% there's at least one.
Like I think
There's
if
at
we
least
wanna
one
get serious-
rogue.
Like
we
it's
wanna
an
get
old
serious about space
Albanian
travel.
man's
Yeah,
like seen the Cold War pube. Like
So you got
it's not just your regular run of them. It's like the
No, it-
Gandalf of pubes.
if we want to get serious about like affordable, sustainable space travel,
A Noah's
or
Ark of pubes.
huge mass transit systems, we need to study the ability of those things to travel the way they do with what appears to be so little energy fueling its travel compared to
100%.
maybe anything in the world short of like insects. Insects are the most efficient flyers in nature. Stray pubes are number 2.
So in this little in toilet hell, you have
Yeah.
at least one. Usually, it is just one pubis.
One
Follicle
Jimmy
hair.
Carter pube just
Just-
back there.
So you got one of those that's just bathing, just swimming in a swimming pool of
Bad teammate urine.
of urine, of butt crack sweat, probably.
Oh no.
You know that, like, you come in from outside and you have that one drip, and you would have gotten it off the seat, but this one escaped back behind the seat. So you got butt crack sweat. You have urine in this pool. There is 1,000%
Middle
spirit
of
to
the
do,
night. Spirit to do splash.
spirit to do, and probably actual physical, real life particles.
Nexus of
It's
spirit
the
to
worst
do.
thing
This is
you've
where
ever
this-
brought to the show.
This is where the spirit to do goes to go be with Gozer or whatever from
Dude,
Ghostbusters. It just shoots up to the sky and goes home.
it's it's the mix of the worst things on earth that live in that little spot behind the seat and underneath the liftable area. That's what lives there. And no matter how much you clean, no matter how much you clean, your entire toilet could be spotless. That one area could never be
Jace, can I
clean.
take you to TikTok?
Yes.
You ever watch the car detailing videos?
Oh, of course I do.
Like they're literally removing seats and taking off panel covers and stuff, and that's how you get the car 99.9% clean. There's always that 0.1% left, but that's the only way you're cleaning that toilet is if you go get the screwdriver out, take the seat off, go get a
100%.
steamer, go get some sort of bring it back to full strength white polish or something. Like there, you ain't just wiping back there and taking care of everything that need to be taken care of.
No. You got back in 2023, you got food poisoning and you really just vommed everywhere.
Just
There's a piece of that
bowl-
there still too.
yeah, just
It's like-
bowl rattling intestine just hanging out right there.
Dude, it's like a time capsule for every horrible thing that's happened on that toilet. That's what that area is. It's a little
You
And
could
imagine-
harvest that area and power your DeLorean.
1,000%.
Imagine dropping your bare backside down near that area without checking first for adequate physical buffer.
And then just
Imagine
getting back
that.
in bed. Then just getting back in bed.
You
Just
need to
bringing
like have
all
a
that
whole-
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle just right back
Yeah.
into the bed.
Hey
Mm.
Brad, before this thought leaves me, I had a random thought about our show, and how occasionally we'll be a little formal in the interview or in the intro, and you'll say something to the effect of, it's your tell your mom to listen, boys, or something like that. I think to our tagline of who we are as people that record this show for ourselves and hopefully others, we need to occasionally remind the people up front in the show that we are the ones who had Bart Rager figured out first. We are the tip of the spear on Bart Rager. And I think that's, I heard on some show I was listening to the last couple of weeks that somebody said they wished that he was still kicking around to improve the NIL situation, or at least make the NIL situation for tech even more colorful. And I thought about that, and I remembered that we were onto the bat bags in 2013, 2014.
Well over a decade at this point.
Long time. Yeah.
I think you heard, to bring up Jake for the 19th time this episode. I think you heard him talking about some of the conflict or how
not
they
being able to make jokes,
flesh
when he-
out, like
That's what
wanting
it
to
was.
talk about sponsors at his old gig and not being able to talk about sponsors fully. And that Bart Rager thing happened like a year after he was like one of the biggest sponsors on the ticket stream. And that's the crazy thing is I don't know that. I think you had to be a stream P1 to really get the full Bart Rager experience, because I think you got like a 5-to-1 ratio. If you were on the stream, you got like 5 Rager ads, whereas if you were just listening on the radio, you only got like 1.
Right. You'd get Bart Rager, and you would get Flo from Progressive singing the Name Your Price tune 6 times an hour, which is just fucking fantastic when you're already sitting at your desk at work trying to, grind through another day. And I was at a very small company back then, so I wasn't on the calls a lot like I am now because there was only 5 other people to really talk to. So it was.
What's crazy now is you could log online and see like Bart Rager is like a personality type that is like kind of celebrated in
He'd
corners of
be-
the internet. Like he'd be
be
selling
thriving.
courses these days. He'd have a course if he was playing in this era of the NBA, the space and pace era. He'd have a course. I'm telling you, he'd have 1 million followers on one of the platforms. Like he'd be doing it up without question. He'd have a fake podcast where he's talking into a mic, but it's just a clip farm podcast. I don't know if you've heard of these, but I'm telling you, that guy would be all up in it and then some in today's NBA.
He was you could tell he wanted to be on that path to begin with, and he was probably among many who were at that time. He just got himself in trouble in the process, and he was insuring cars that he'd already sold or using inventory that he
It sold
claimed
multiple
wasn't-
times, or like
because they borrow
stuff
when they
on loans. I think it was fraud. It was bank fraud, and he was claiming vehicles like 2 and 3 times. I think.
Yeah, you're right. He was increasing his borrowing ability by fraudulently claiming certain amounts of inventory or something. I don't know how it works, but that's how you deal with your finances there. So yeah. Anyway, shouts to Brad, Jason, and myself for being on top of that very early on.
Bat bags in the bed.
If we have any new listeners this week, since we usually catch a few new listeners whenever we have a guest of any kind, and I just want you all to know, number one, thanks for joining me here with my bougie iced coffee that I made at home. And my friends.
It really helps when the guest pumps the show, but I think he gave us too much insider information that he doesn't want shared with the Gen Pop, so he kept it nice and close to the vest. And I noticed he didn't have anything nice to say, or he didn't share.
I don't need the show pumped in any way, shape, or form. Anyway,
he told me don't text me again.
Did you?
No. Sorry, man.
I have so much to share with you guys.
Are you bulbous?
Do you have anything
engorged?
Engorged. Do you have anything that you want to cover today that's important? Jace, trip news.
Yeah, Jace, you've been gone for a month and you don't have one damn thing. The luck. He said the luck. He wanted to talk about luck.
Yeah, but we could that can be a whole seggy that we can do some other time. So I want to hear.
I forgot.
From
you got 11 minutes, don't you?
Yeah.
You got a hard out.
That's right.
Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit I got to eat. So if you guys could just talk while I eat this chicken biscuit, that'd be great.
Shows up for 30 minutes. Talks about toilets. Says, I got to leave early and I'm going to eat while we do this.
People are going to say I was the best part of this episode. For all of you that joined last week for Jake, you got an upgrade this week.
Got a total upgrade.
Got a fucking upgrade.
How I'm not sure which one of these things I want to ask you guys about. But I'm going to start with this one.
Okay. Is this a rapid fire thing, or are we?
It's just one notch bigger than a rapid fire thing, but I really keep seeing content on the IG that makes me think that I would enjoy having an air fryer. But I resolved a long time ago.
Really?
not to buy large appliances that need counter space to use them. I could probably find a place to keep it down beneath or wherever if I, did some Tetris in there. But I just don't want to do that. But they keep showing me it looks like a good way to get a certain crisp on certain things that is harder to attain in the oven or in the pan. And would also be something you could throw stuff in there. It's seasoned. You let it do its thing for 10 minutes, whatever the timing is, and you can multitask better. Whereas if I'm trying to get a good comprehensive surface area texture onto a protein or a vegetable of some kind in the oven, I'm having to like flip it or check on it or put it on, elevate it in some way above the pan that it's in. And then obviously if you're at the stove or the cooktop, you're flipping, you're doing your thing. So I don't know. Do y'all have an air fryer? Should I get one? What am I doing here?
I'll tell you this. It is a big, giant appliance. I use mine so often that it stays on my countertop. That's how much we use it. It's probably a 5 times a week usage situation with kids. Because, to your point, ease of use is through the roof. And I have a convection oven as well. So I can... I know. In theory, they do the same thing, right? But having experimented with both, air fryer, easiest thing in the world, dude. And the texture, the crisp on a nice nug. Brad, am I right? On a nug? Do you get a better crisp on that nug? Yes or no?
100%. And let me tell you, let me preach the gospel here. Can I speak to you from Cuisinart Convection / Air Fry Oven 13.2?
Please.
Lo though need food reheateth, lo though hath stricken from the bad path, lo in the microwave. Did you hear what I said? Lo though needeth food reheateth. And that's what Paul was saying to the Corinthians. Okay? That's what he was saying to the Corinthians.
My big technique when I need to reheat food in a more proper way right now is to take a little
steam it on the stove,
aluminum pizza thing.
Okay.
Throw a little heavy duty foil on there and put the thing under the broiler. But that requires a lot of attention because the broiler is a true outcome, home run or strikeout, right?
We do not have your counter space, and longtime listeners of the show will know Rylan likes shit nice and neat and in its place and refuses to clutter up his counter because, as we'll say again, we all came up under boomers who there was a toaster oven, there was a stack of paper plates, there was a stack of bowls that just was there was a can opener on the counter, there was the kitchen radio on the counter, there was the mini TV, there was the paper towels, there was the spotted cows,
but you don't. Vintage salt and pepper shakers, stacks of antique bowls that you don't get out of,
cookie jar,
paper towel roll, and then the other thing that looks like it could be a paper towel roll,
a knife block where we've never used the knives out of it. Like your whole counter was covered from corner to corner, depth to depth. It was covered. That's the houses we all grew up in, and it's made a lot of us millennials, elder millennials, Gen X hybrid millennials. It's made us a lot of, err towards the side of minimalism or, hiding your stuff or putting it up if you're not using it. We don't have your counter real estate, okay? So we've just kind of dealt with the idea that there's going to be stuff on the counter because we don't also have your storage real estate and we can't put all this stuff up. I will say
those two things go hand in hand because when you have counter, that means you got a space under it most of the time.
But not in our 1970s house.
So
correct.
If you don't have a lot of one, you don't have a lot of either.
Yeah.
Which makes your life more challenging.
we have the what Jace said. It can do everything. It's a convection oven that can air fry, it can air broil, it can air bake, it can broil, it can even
Make jerky, dehydrate.
it has like a steak setting on it if you want to just fire the shit out of a steak, I think. But what I will say, we use it for the most. And when I say use it for the most, we use it much more than we use our regular oven, because the oven is a planned out process that you have to hold in pattern of holding the latency pattern for it to get to temperature. And I feel like our oven is the worst at getting to temperature. It might take you 45 minutes to get to 350.
You have to time it with the other things you're doing.
Yeah. In
the same process. I've been using the oven a lot more in the last year, and I think the reason is it's quicker and easier to multitask than firing up the grill. I still fire up the grill because I do charcoal. Do fire outside, gas inside. That's the name of the game here. But I need to cook more food because these young people that live with me can eat 4 or 5 adults worth of food now, and so I don't want to. If I'm going to invest in cooking a meal,
what I did earlier,
and that's the problem with the air fryer is I see those air fryers and I perceive that the tray for the air fryer is like 12 by 12 if we're lucky.
In the one we have, it's probably around that.
That's a late night snack amount for me. That's not.
Let me tell you where it works for us. The other day I had in my mind I wanted to make bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits in the morning, kind of spur of the moment, no big plan. Okay, longest thing that's going to take there is their bacon, and I'm already taking up a good amount of oven real estate, but I want to make the biscuits as well. I made biscuits from like start to finish. Open the pack, pulling them out of the little air fryer oven thing, like 9 minutes. I didn't have to wait for the oven to get hot and then unpack them and then put them in a nice little container. Like I just whipped the biscuit open, turned it to 350, 375 or whatever, put it in the little air fryer oven. 9 minutes later, biscuits are ready. I'm still waiting on bacon. But had I had only the oven, that would have been like a 45-minute ordeal, waiting on the bacon to cook and then waiting on the biscuits to cook and then doing it all together. The other thing, which I think
real
is
quick, before I forget though, was this a can of biscuits that you pop open out of the fridge, or was this a loose bag of frozen biscuits?
This was, and I will forever preach the gospel of the loose bag of biscuits, as I brought to the show once not so long ago. Love the biscuits out of the bag. Pulled the biscuits out of the bag out of the freezer. Noticed they were like 2 months past the due date, and I was like,
stuck together with some crystal and
that's not going to work.
Outside.
On the other hand, I was like, you did buy a can of biscuits the other day because Molly was going to do one of those oven biscuit casserole kind of things, and those work better with the canned biscuits. So I was like, I'll do the canned biscuits, and I'm telling you, 9 minutes, I was done. It was glorious. But the biggest thing, Jason was right. Get your frozen chicken nuggets and throw them in the air fryer. It is the easiest thing. You don't have to sit there and wait for it to get hot. You're done in like 11 minutes. But the biggest thing, used it this morning. Last night, Mom had a mahjong. We might need to address what the fuck is going on with mahjong.
We had a friend of ours
cyclical
tell us that she wants to teach us how to play mahjong, and this is a party friend. This is a fun friend.
Okay, I'm not judging the game.
Well, I think we think it's like an
my
old
mom
lady
played
thing.
it. Yeah, my mom played it back.
But I
like
think
in
it's
the 80s.
coming back. Yeah.
Really? Okay, I didn't know that it was around in the suburban, but the suburban mom over in this neck of the woods is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs on the mahjong right now. Might need to.
It's their dominoes. It's their version.
I'm telling you, man. I played a few times. Don't get me wrong. I'm not here to hate on the game. I get the allure. I love it for them. It's one of those things where you're like, hey, that wasn't a thing. Hey, now that is really a thing. You know what I'm saying?
It's the pickleball of table games.
I think you're correct. That's a great analysis there. What I'll say is, so she had a mahjong night last night with the ladies, and she wasn't here for most of the night, and so that was just me and Sage and Shep. We went Cane's, and because they both love Cane's, and there was some leftover chicken because you never throw away chicken in this house,
dude.
Okay, what do you think I did with it? That leftover chicken for Sage's breakfast this morning? What do you think I did? Because if I would have put that in the microwave, I'd have gotten soggy skin / breading starting to divorce each other, being like, it's your fault. You never last. You never show up. I mean, you know what I'm saying? The breading and the chicken.
So what you're telling me is I need to start looking at the right air fryer for my.
It made the chicken
needs.
like we just got it out of the styrofoam box that's killing
Yeah.
the environment last
He's
night,
right.
like fresh out of Mr. Kane's hand.
So even better than the broiler reheat, because the broiler reheat, you got to flip it, you stay on top of it. And sometimes I'll spray cooking spray on whatever I'm reheating in the broiler for that.
Get yourself, make sure and buy a thing or two of parchment paper so that you always got it on hand, because it makes the air fryer even easier. You don't have to clean it every single time if you cover your pan with the parchment paper. But your second usage, I love cold pizza. Don't get me wrong. Okay. I'm not here to tell you that cold pizza doesn't do all the tricks and is approved. That's not what I'm saying about cold pizza. I love cold pizza. Why can't you just support me? Why can't you just laugh into the mic and it gives people permission to laugh?
He's just saying, don't accuse cold pizza of being missionary only.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
cold pizza, throw it back.
Don't say that.
Okay, we got derailed here. Okay, I don't know who did it, but we did get derailed.
Oh no, we know who did it. We know that's not a mystery, but
hot dog costume over here.
That's not a Jeffrey Epstein 1 minute missing in the video type of mystery. We know exactly who derailed this show.
Okay, sorry. I know you got to get out, so I'll end it on this. But you throw pizza in the air fryer the next day,
so good.
It might even be better. I know that's a tall measuring stick or long stick there. I don't know what's the saying. Tall order.
He's struggling so hard right now. Yeah, he's struggling real hard.
I'm just saying. Pizza the next day in an air fryer. Strong to quite strong. And you should get one.
Good.
And it's a
get
worthy
the ninja
counter space.
Get the
I
ninja.
Just want to say,
Ryan.
if you made it this far, to our listeners, thank you once again for another fun week. And
what did we talk about?
Everyone knows that. Well, I want people to know that they need to remain aware of Big Dairy and their various shenanigans. I'm going to bring a couple of Big Dairy conspiracy concerns to the table next show. What did we talk about this show? We talked about
toilet.
We talked about air fryer. We talked about does luck exist?
Toilets,
although we didn't. It's more of a tease. We
layer.
talked about what it really means to whatever the kid topic was at the beginning, where they're doing things.
Oh yeah.
Don't add up.
The gum and the why don't they just throw shit away? Why don't they throw stuff away?
Gum, carpet, children.
Well, technically, it was just under
Havers.
the couch, not in the carpet. But
This
it
sounds
could've been.
better.
The truth
could've
doesn't
been.
matter. Yeah.
There was if there was carpet under that part of the couch, they wouldn't have changed their behavior. They were probably secretly hoping it would land on some carpet.
For Brad, for Rylan, for Jason, Human Dads 232. Tell your mom to listen. Bring the bread. Season your bacon. Mix in a tortilla. Go to Arby's. Keep it tight. Let it breathe.
Call the ticket and tell them you want us on a weekend show on the ticket. Everybody call the ticket. Or email
Do you
them.
have
It's
time
at
on your
the
weekend
ticket.
for that kind of thing?
Yeah, at the same time.
You would make time to do that.
Yeah.
They would ask me to leave after like the third one.
I'm just thinking if I had to sit down in a room and somebody reviewed what we just said, like earnestly, to be like, so when you were saying this about the toilet seat and you mentioned Jimmy Carter pube, I'm never going to have the capacity to take that conversation seriously.
I already know what I like better than I think they do. And then plus, I don't know.
Which isn't to say they're not experienced, trained professionals.
No, what they're being
speaking of
asked to do is not the same lane as what I'm interested in doing.
I'm
is
speaking of
okay.
my inabilities. So,
I would-
Spreadnick.
I'm gonna give y'all something just to
Ryan's
lead
like,
us on.
Let's just keep going.
No, Courtney and I were talking the other day, and she said that, and Courtney's grandma, who's been gone about 10 or so years now, and she was in her early 90s, I think, when she died. She used to refer to Barbara Bush as a handsome woman. She goes, "That's what we would call a handsome woman."
I always love that phrase. Makes me laugh.
I'm leaving you with that.
Shout out
God
to all
bless.
the handsome women.
Listeners, thank you for listening, and eat shit, Jake. I'm just kidding.
Anything else?
Don't do that.
Do you want to arrange when we're going to do this next?
Could we
While
end the
we're
recording
recording?
first, guys? Why do y'all do this?
Yeah, exactly, Brad. That's a great point.